Yes, guys, they're talking to us now about bringing in Rabiot. Rabiot, I don't know how you say it, but listen, there's no doubt that Rabiot is a seriously talented football player. Great left foot, brilliant at carrying the ball and dribbling, taking the ball under pressure, can pass very well over short distances especially. The position Man United maybe see him playing in maybe the holder, one of the holding players, and an 8. My biggest concern, if he's going to be an 8, he doesn't score enough goals. I think McTominay's got more goals over the last couple of seasons than him, and he doesn't get enough either. So I think it will be. Will the fan base be happy? I think, given that they've been going for Frankie de Jong, he's obviously the second, third, or fourth option. Because it's been able to go so long in the window, they've been waiting for Frankie de Jong's situation to change, and it hasn't. So this is a reactive signing. This is something they're reacting to, where they thought they were getting Frankie de Jong. No, we ain't getting him. We're going to go for somebody else who's available. And it's not always the best case scenario when that happens. I think it will be a risk. I don't see the fee being much more than something like 20 million. In today's market, it's cheap considering, but at the same time, the biggest concern, is he right for Manchester United? Is he going to make us a team that's going to challenge stronger for Champions League positions? I don't know. He's played a lot of games for Juventus recently. He was at Paris Saint-Germain. He's a France international. But for me, he's obviously a step down from Frankie de Jong. And you know what? I've seen players talk about him. I interviewed David Luiz when he was at Paris Saint-Germain, and Rabiot was there, and he said to me, Rio, one of the most talented players here is Rabiot. But he just needs to get himself right. He needs to get his mindset right, his attitude right. If he gets that right, he could be unplayable, unstoppable. He hasn't got to those heights that someone like David Luiz was expecting in terms of ability yet. But could this be the move that does that for him? And again, this is a reactive move. This is the second, third, or fourth option for Manchester United, and this isn't what we're about. You normally, Man United, have a couple of options, and they say this is the player we want. Back in the day, you go and get him. We go and get that player. Doesn't matter who else is at the table, but it just shows you where things have changed. Man United is very different now, and they've got to approach the transfer window very different, and they've got to bring something new to the table to entice players. They can't entice them with Champions League. They're having to pay more money than they would normally, pay the player more money than they would normally, and they've got to sell some other sort of story or that will make that player go, do you know what, I want to be part of that. And I think that story is trying to change the fortunes of the club right now, because at the moment it's a little bit all over the place in terms of where we are. If we start the season today without any players coming through the door, I think it's going to be a similar story to last season. Unfortunately, we need new players. We wanted to recruit players. We knew that the players that we had here on the whole aren't good enough, and we need to add to some of the good players that we do have here, and that's very important. But this is it's a tough window, considering when you look at Man City, who have finished 30 plus points, I think it was 35 points ahead of us last year. They've recruited. You saw their bench the weekend. Who comes off their bench? Mahrez, Phillips, Bernardo Silva. Like, you just look at Alvarez and a young lad, Cole Palmer. Like, you're looking at all of them boys would start in our team and probably be up there with the best players in our team right now. That's their substitute bench. And so I look at us and I just feel like we're 35 points behind Man City, 30 odd points behind Liverpool, and they've had better transfer windows than us. So how many more points are we going to finish behind them? So it's worrying. It's worrying times in that sense, because the transfer window hasn't been a type of transfer window that we all anticipated, we all wanted, and we all know that we need. So let's hope it finishes in a better note than it is at the moment. But Rabiot coming in, listen, I don't think he's as gloomy as everybody thinks. I think he adds quality. Whether we up to the levels in what we've got, will remain to be seen. I think we were all anticipating or waiting for Arnautovic to come. I think many people were quite surprised when it was announced that he was a target. A lot of the questions are, would you have welcomed him? Yeah, listen, you welcome every player, but I think the issue with someone like Arnautovic is, one, his age. I think he's 32, 33 years old. He's already gone to China, where normally players go to China to down tools, or they've lost that bit of spirit and fight, or they're too old to play in the top leagues. And when he was here, to be fair to him, he done well at Stoke and he done well at West Ham. But at no point in them times did you ever feel that he was capable of playing for a team like Manchester United. Now, Man United now is different. It's a different beast to what it was then, really. But he wouldn't have been my pick. And I thought we were going away from the buying the players like who at the back end of their careers, like the Cavani's, like the Schweinsteigers, like the Zlatans, etc., like the Cristianos. We thought it was going to be a new time. Now you're buying younger players, fresher players for the future, and he certainly wouldn't have fit that bill. There's not been a changeover of players that we expected. We haven't been able to pin down the signings we've wanted. If we go into this season without recruiting another midfielder, there's going to be problems this season. It's going to be a long season.